Look, if you're a high handicapper shopping around for a forgiving driver right now, just stop. Thinking a brand new driver is going to magically cure your slice is literally the biggest money mistake in golf. The market wants you to blame your old club, but honestly, it's not the club. Later, I'll show you the one thing most buyers never check, and it costs them every time. Dropping $600 on the absolute newest model, it's a massive trap. It leaves average weekend golfers totally broke, frustrated, and you know what? Still missing fairways. You absolutely do not need a $600 club to hit the ball straighter. In fact, some of the most forgiving drivers for high handicappers are sitting right next to those new releases, but for a fraction of the price. We've all been there, right? You walk into a shop, you've been slicing your current driver, and a salesman points you straight to a shiny new release on the wall. This is exactly where most golfers waste money. For average golfers, the actual performance difference between this year's model and one from, say, 3 years ago, it's tiny. You're basically paying hundreds extra for fresh paint, a cool new logo, and maybe 2 yards of distance you'll never even feel on the course. Okay, remember that detail I teased a minute ago? The one most buyers completely ignore? It's your shaft flex. Finding a cheap driver, but getting the wrong flex is not a deal. It's a complete disaster. It is the absolute difference between hitting fairways and fighting your own swing all day long. So how do we actually find a club that works for you? Let's break down what actually creates forgiveness in a golf club. First, you want a big, deep club head with high MOI. MOI just means resistance to twisting. When you inevitably miss the sweet spot, a high MOI head keeps the face stable. Second is loft. High handicappers play way too little loft. More loft gives you a higher launch, less side spin, and straighter flights. If you fight a slice, loft is your best friend. Third, look for draw-biased adjustability. It quietly fights your slice without you having to change a single thing about your swing. And that brings us right back to shaft flex. Getting this right does more for your tee shots than any new driver head on the market, period. A regular or senior flex shaft that actually matches your slower swing speed is going to be your absolute secret weapon. All those premium aftermarket shafts, honestly, that's just marketing noise for average weekend golfers. Save your cash and just get the flex right. Now, before you buy, you need to hear this next part. Instead of hunting for one magical, perfect club, here's the smart buyer's framework. Your absolute best value play is buying previous generation. When a brand drops a new driver, last year's model and the one before it get marked down hard. You get a massive, forgiving, adjustable driver for a super friendly price. Finding a 1 to 3 year old forgiving model that fits your budget, that is the sweet spot. The cheaper option is not always worse. Here is the catch. Going with a previous gen model means you keep basically all the forgiveness and save cash for things like lessons or greens fees. But here are the real weaknesses you gotta know. You lose out on warranties, use condition is always a bit of a gamble, and older heads might have slightly less ball speed forgiveness on the very extreme edges of the club face. If buying used, this next point matters a lot. You definitely don't want to get stuck with a broken club. Just run through this quick checklist. 1. Inspect the crown for any tiny cracks. 2. Check the face for caving or really deep scratches. 3. Twist the adjustable hosel to make sure it actually locks in smoothly. And 4. Confirm the exact shaft flex. 2 listings for the exact same driver can be priced way differently just based on these details. Listen closely because this next part changes the final answer completely. The absolute fastest way to turn a good deal into a bad deal? Buying a cheap used driver with the wrong shaft. A stiff shaft in the hands of a slower swinger will completely kill your launch, and it's going to feel incredibly harsh at impact. A cheap club with the wrong flex isn't a bargain at all. It's a club you're going to hate hitting every single round. Here are some fast, punchy rules to keep money in your wallet. 1. Time your purchase. Previous gen prices plummet early in the year when the new models drop, and again during the holidays. 2. Don't pay extra for adjustability you're never going to use. 3. Fit still matters. Pop into a local shop for a rough swing speed check just so you know your flex. And 4, never buy on price alone. Fit beats price every single time. So who is this strategy actually for? Buy a used previous gen driver if you're a high handicapper who slices, wants real forgiveness, and absolutely refuses to spend $600. But who should skip it? Well, skip used if you can't inspect the club in person, skip it if the only cheap option has the wrong flex. If you demand the newest premium feel and have the budget for it, hey, that's totally fine. Just know exactly what you're paying for. If a used driver still stretches your budget too far, look at a smarter alternative, a high-lofted 3-wood, or even a mini driver. Most buyers skip this and regret it later. For a lot of high handicappers, a 3-wood is just so much easier to hit straight than any driver. Plus, used 3-woods are incredibly cheap right now. Keep your options open across different major brands and just hunt for the best condition at the best price. All right, here is my final verdict for this explainer. The best forgetting driver for a high handicapper on a budget is almost never the brand new release. Buy a previous gen driver if you can find a big, forgiving head, plenty of loft, and the right shaft flex at a deep discount. Skip it if the flex is wrong or if the used price is just way too close to a new model on sale. Chase forgiveness and fit. Don't overpay for a logo. Okay, it's your turn. Drop a comment below with your budget, your handicap, and the driver you're swinging right now. Tell me your usual miss. Is it a slice, a push, or a pop-up? I read these and I'll honestly help you make the smart call. And if this explainer saved you from overpaying today, hit subscribe for more honest budget advice. Think about it. What could you shoot this weekend if you weren't constantly fighting your